Hi guys, so I'm back with another Fear the Walking Dead review. Today I'm reviewing episode 12. Well, today this would be like Wednesday, but I'm uploading this basically for tomorrow as a premiere. A quick one, I guess. Just to give my thoughts, since most of this episode is, basically a dream. And I guess there is a big reveal later on, but yeah. At first, when I was watching this, I was like, man, this is a filler episode. But as it goes on, things get darker, and then it's it's actually a pretty big episode, I'd say. Yeah, definitely can't call it a filler by the end, no way, because a big thing happens. So yeah, so obviously, as usual, there'll be spoilers because yeah, when I review an episode, I'm always going to talk about spoilers. So yeah, because I don't want to have to review it again, like spoiler free, and then spoilers. I don't really do that. I just go like straight into spoilers. So yeah, just warning you guys. So it's probably best that you watch the episode, which by the time I'm uploading this, there's been loads of time to watch it. So yeah, let's get into it. So yeah, I kind of apologize for being a bit late. I mean, at least it's not Thursday because I planned to review this on Tuesday. But yeah, it was my brother's birthday on Tuesday, so yeah, I couldn't really do it on that day. So I'm reviewing it on the Wednesday, but I'm not uploading it until the Thursday, so as a premiere. So yeah. So basically, Grace, I guess she was like in an accident because the believers, the new villains of the Walking Dead, not the Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, but yeah, even though it's the same universe, but yeah, because basically there was like they caused an explosion, and I guess Grace and Morgan was in it, and it kind of put her in like some kind of, well, I don't know if I should say coma, but basically she was in a stage of life and death, and this dream that she was having kind of put her in this situation as well, because she kind of wakes up to this reality that she wished it. I mean, that she wished it existed, but it actually doesn't. Where everything's just so colourful, and basically, a lot of the characters who are still around basically got a happy ending, I guess. Which I want to talk about that too, but yeah, because basically the one who saves Grace is actually her daughter, which does that actually make sense? Because at that moment, like when I first seen her, I was like, that's definitely Grace's daughter, which I guess I'll show her now. Basically, this is Grace's daughter, Athena, which I guess Grace said that the Grace that would exist in her mind would have called her this because she'd grow up to be strong, and I guess she is because she's kind of a fighter in this dream world. Yeah, yeah. It felt weird at first for most of the episode to be like in a dream, but then eventually you start to see that it's she's obviously in a dream with how things start to happen. Like she can hear Morgan from just up in the sky. So it's just certain things that made you think like, yeah, it's a dream, but obviously, I mean, nowhere they're gonna do such a huge time skip right now with the new villains around. So yeah, it wouldn't make sense. And saying that they don't even know her, I mean, that was also a sign too. Yeah, I just don't know if they would ever show us like the whole thing that happened because they don't really show us that when they get attacked. It's more like the aftermath where Mog's just trying to protect Grace, stopping the believers from getting in because basically the believers want the key that I guess Grace's daughter Athena has around her neck, since that's what the believers really want, so they can. I don't even know what their plan is, or if that thing that they need is in that submarine that we've seen earlier on in the show. I mean, who knows? Maybe their plan is to go underwater or something. I mean, that could be their plan, but geez, living underwater, I don't know how that would work. I mean, it's possible, but eventually, man, yeah, who knows? Maybe that actually is their plan, but maybe there's a lot more to it. But yeah, I guess this would have been how Athena's daughter would have been, but I don't know if I should say the spoiler now, but I'm just gonna wait until the end, and I'm just gonna move on to some of the characters, where I guess things have actually worked out for them in this time skip, kind of time skip, because it's basically like a dream, kind of like when Carl had that dream of how the future should be, even people getting along with Negan, like all those kind of things that happened. Yeah, but then some of that hasn't happened because some of the characters have died, and I feel like it's going to be a similar situation. So yeah, as you can see, Dwight has kids. Well, I guess he got back with Sherry like fully, and he had two kids with her. One's a bit older, and the one's, I guess, a baby. That was nice to see. We even get to see Daniel and Strand somehow getting along, which is so weird because one time they wanted to kill each other, and now they're just getting on like best friends. That's just so weird. Imagine if things actually work out like that, but realistically, I don't know because right now Daniel's actually with Strand to help him get better, but who knows how that's gonna end? Yeah, because they're probably gonna focus an episode on Strand and Daniel. I mean, if we're gonna get a full episode on Grace and making us think like they're gonna kill her off, and that's probably why they was focusing on her, but something else happens instead because because it looked like they was gonna kill her off, but then something else happens, which is probably a lot worse. Which I'm gonna get to it at the end. But yeah, this was like cool seeing what the dam could be, but seeing all these things happen, does that mean that they're not gonna happen? I mean, that's the thing. Because with The Walking Dead, when we saw something like this in The Walking Dead, and we got to see, Carl, what Carl wanted. I mean, some of those things are not even possible now. I mean, they can rebuild, and to a certain degree, those things could happen. But yeah, not all those characters are still going to be around because a lot of them died in modern The Walking Dead. Yeah, in the original show, man. Just to think back from season 8 to 10, like the amount of characters that have died. Yeah, and who knows how it's going to be in Fear the Walking Dead, even if the dam still exists. Like, because who knows what's going to happen by the end of this season and season 7, and I don't even know if there's going to be a season 8. I mean, if they cancel it, then we'll know. But yeah, who knows? Maybe it'll get renewed for one more season. But yeah, yeah, it was cool to see this. I mean, is it better than Cal's vision? I mean, they kind of focused a whole episode on it, so we got to see a lot more, and it was definitely really beautiful as well, like the environment and everything. But yeah, I still prefer what they did with Cal. It was just nice and simple with what Cal wanted. I mean, this is like the reason why we got like kind of a full episode on this is because Grace is basically fighting for her life in this moment, and this is like what she would want if she was going to die if she didn't make it, and that's why she imagined all these things to make it look like there's going to be a bright future when she passes on, because that radiation that she had before. I mean, that was a problem before, but it disappeared, and now maybe it looked like they was going to bring it back, but then maybe something worse has happened instead from what she had. But then could she still die too? But yeah. All right, I'm just gonna focus on when the believers get close to Morgan in the real world, because basically the believers want to get to Morgan basically to get the key, but then Morgan kind of like slaughters a bunch of them. As for Grace, in her mind, she's trying to tell her daughter that I'm her mother. Basically, that's what she's trying to say. Like, I'm your mother. And then just some weird things happen where they're killing the believers but as walkers, because they kill the believers in the dream world, but then they come back as walkers, and they're talking like they're the whisperers, but more advanced whisperers, because even after killing them they still got back up, because it's not like a real world. And it seems like things were going really bad because Grace, it seemed like Grace was dying, and basically her daughter was dying as well. And it gets to a point where like I said, the believers broke in, and Morgan takes care of most of them. And then he kills the leader. I don't even know if I should call him like a co-leader or something, because we've met the real leader in the introduction to these new villains. But yeah, he basically escapes, but then he comes back with a car, smashing through to surprise him when Grace wakes up after leaving that world, the dream world, or whatever I should call it. And I guess says goodbye to her daughter, and maybe one day she'll be able to see her all grown up. Yeah. And then he comes back, and I just feel like Morgan should have killed him in that moment, because he killed everyone else but he didn't kill him. But he was mainly focused on Grace in that moment, so that's why I probably didn't kill him, because if that was me I would have killed him, because obviously he was going to come back. In the way he kind of said that he was going to come back, and then he does with a gun. And yeah, he should have just killed him in that moment. Because it seems like even Grace would be the one to kill him, because she kind of kills him in that fake world. But yeah, I mean, if she had a chance. but then he doesn't really do anything. But man, I just don't even know where to begin with what happens. But yeah, basically Morgan gives the key to the guy, like the key that Morgan got from, like, was it episode 2 or 3? That may be important to the submarine. And when I guess Grace seen it in that dream world, that was basically symbolizing the key to peace, because I guess Grace viewed her daughter as being the symbol of peace. So that's why Morgan is told by Grace to give the key to him, and then he basically leaves him alone. But then I guess I'll get to the final scene. So yeah, we get to the scene where I guess Morgan thinks Grace isn't gonna make it, but at least the baby can make it. But then, oh god, when Grace gives birth, the baby comes out, but then it's not breathing. Like, I'm just like, no, not again. Because the last time Morgan lost a kid, it was Dwayne. His actual well, this is his kid as well. What am I saying? So this is like a big deal for Morgan right now, because back in like the first ever episode, we got to see his son Dwayne in, like, the original show back in 2010, and he basically loses his son sometime, after Rick leaves, because he isn't really able to kill his wife, and then the wife kills his son, and that's when Morgan went to clear mode and just went around killing random people, and then the Eastman stuff. Basically, everything that ever happened to Morgan was because of his son's death. And yeah, now this has happened. I don't know if he's going to go into like a clear mode again and just, go and kill all the believers or something. I have no idea what's going to happen right now. And it's hard to say, like, who's to blame. Is it the believers for what? For ambushing Morgan and Grace, which could have killed the baby, or maybe it's Grace's radiation, because they kind of show flashes to everything that happened there, yeah, in this dream mode as well, while they're focusing on this dream mode. But yeah, it's hard to say what actually killed, Grace's baby, Athena. Man, I was thinking she was definitely going to be born at least, and then, Grace passes away. But damn, what happens instead? And then, Morgan's reaction. It was pretty sad. Oh, I end the review. I just want to, point out seeing June again. Like, that was cool, and she's still wearing, like, John's hat. And seeing that old Charlie, that was kind of weird. Yeah. It was still cool though, and basically June became a doctor. I mean, I just don't know if all these things are gonna actually happen, but I would like to see some of these things happen though. I mean, right now in The Walking Dead, Negan's still in, Alexandria with Maggie around, which, I don't think that's gonna work out, but yeah. I would like to see June, eventually return to the dam, if that's still gonna be a place by the end of this show, but, we'll see. Yeah. So yep, that's my review of Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 12. I just wonder what's going to happen in the next episode. Are we going to see what happened to, Alicia? I just wonder what they're going to focus on. I haven't seen the promo yet, so yeah. I have no idea. But yeah, definitely a good episode after seeing the full picture, because I just judged it straight away, but then it became way more important by the end with what happens, man. I just don't know how Morgan's going to react to this too, man. Guess we're going to have to wait and find out. But yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
One look, the heat is rising, and I've been cold for so long. One touch and we're igniting.